And then I think I came to you like the next day or something, and I told you about it, and I was just like, I think if I miss this opportunity, I'm going to be stuck. And I think it's going to be hard for me, but I think that maybe I should go. And a lot of the teachers were super supportive. They knew I was very nervous about it. So I think they helped me integrate really well, and they were really patient. And after that trip to Spain, I came back and I was slowly opening up more. I took two of my friends to Cape Cod and just drove myself. It was a great opportunity. And then from there, just I think I felt ready to go on to the next step and go to Japan and visit. I haven't been initially went to visit my friends, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, that is exactly how it happened. Now, from my perspective, what happened was, see, parents know things, right? We knew, Dad and I, that was an amazing opportunity for you. And we knew that it would expand your mindset and your horizons. We didn't know to what degree, but we knew it would. And one of the hardest things for parents is to not just tell, right? Like we could have said to you, you're going on that trip, whether you want to or not. That is not part of my collaborative parenting methodology. I believe that when you're ready to make decisions, you make them, and that we slowly launch you towards that readiness space. Because the other thing that was true for you is you didn't, at that point in your life, you didn't really like when we were right. So when you came home and you were like, just randomly, I think it was at the dinner table actually, and it was super chill, and you were like, hey, I decided to go to Spain.
Yeah.
I had to like hide my joy.
Yeah.
Because it would have triggered you to be frustrated with me. So I was like, oh, that's cool. What made you choose that? But it's not easy for parents when we can see what the outcome would be and that our kids aren't ready to make that decision for themselves.
I think that opened my eyes too. It's like watching children and seeing how they learn, and they learn through experience, and that doesn't really stop even when you're older. Now I've had the great opportunity to work with Japanese kids and just help them, and I'm tutoring some Japanese kids when I get back, and they're so sweet. But it's just like going those places, I think, helped me see that there's really no division in that, and that wherever you go, it's like humanity really is the same. Like children are still curious and they still want to learn, and it's still so much opportunity wherever I go to help kids, and that's what I love to do. So
I love that you have a heart for the littles. And in that way, she and I align. And it's such a joy to watch you understand. And sometimes when I try to explain this to people, it's hard for them if they don't experience it. But there's almost this invisible energy connection before there's even conversation with kids. And it just settles them.
And I think I've learned about that more being in Japan, because in the beginning of my stay, my first job was like tutoring, and a lot of the kids didn't know English that well, and I was still in the beginning of learning Japanese, and we just kind of had to feel each other. I had to be able to understand and like feel where they are, and like I could tell, and they knew I could tell, and so that's why they opened up. But it's been amazing to see how I can work with kids even with the language barrier. There's still that amazing connection, and I think that's really a gift that has been given to me even from a young age. My Japanese friend, she didn't know much English, but I understood everything she was trying to say. And I think that's why going to Japan I still have so many opportunities because people can see that and feel that I still care about these children. I still love them and I'm willing to wait until they're ready.
I remember
Try.
when I think you had almost just arrived at Famuka-san's, and one of the first woofing families that came through had a 2-year-old little girl.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm
And
still friends with them too.
you are? See,
Yeah.
you make relationships that last very quickly because you show up as your authentic self. It's so powerful. But Caroline sent me this picture of her and this little girl. What's her name?
I would have to look at
Yeah,
it.
names are hard.
Yeah, they're very similar. Oh, Saki. Saki-san.
Saki-san.
Saki-chan. Sorry. Chan.
I won't even try. That's her domain. But this picture of her and this little girl in the kitchen, and you were cooking together. Caroline knew zero Japanese at this point. Well, maybe like a
A
tiny
little bit.
fraction. And this little girl didn't speak any English, and
Yeah.
they cooked together and had this experience. And that just shows that connection and communication are not entirely language based.
She helped me with my Japanese as well. And when I first met her, she was pregnant. But I haven't visited them lately. I want to. But when her other daughter was born, she invited me over to their house, and I got to meet the baby. And I have pictures with me holding her daughter, and she sends me little pictures occasionally of the kids. So it's really sweet.
The quality of relationships in life is all that really matters. And it's why here at the show and through all my coursework with you, I teach you the relationship you build with your children is far more important than any skills that you think are required to be successful in the schools or in the world. Relationship building helps you actually get through the challenges. So that's the priority. And, for me, that meant that I wanted to be as close physically to you and your sister during your childhood. And so it meant leaving the classroom for a while and being fully present.
Yeah. We also had 2 years apart, so you had your hands full.
Yep, I did. And you know what? That was exactly the right answer. You were biologically made very specifically
Together.
to match the skills that I had to help you overcome whatever challenges, whether they be physical or cognitive. So I want to go back to this idea of, well, compassion and empathy in all your relationships. I think you live out my mission statement so beautifully in that way. But there are 3 kids in this family. You have an infamous even statement that I talk about all the time.
Which one?
Caroline used to say, we have 3 kids, but only 2 sit at the dinner table. So when I wrote that mission statement in the year 2000, I was pregnant with Emma Grace, and she's our first daughter. She's our angel in heaven. I have multiple episodes that are specifically just about my parenting journey and how I arrived at parenting in an unexpected way. She was a perfect little girl. She was an 8-pound, 5-ounce baby, born one day past her due date. And in the 24 hours in between my 40-week check and her arrival, she got caught up in her umbilical cord and she passed away. So bringing a stillborn baby into the world, and that being the child who made me a mother, was a very complicated time for me. There was an intense period of grief, and then there was an even more complicated exploration for me of how could I bring more children into the world and allow them to be their unique selves and honor and respect them as they evolved without replacing and without comparing to who Emma was, because I didn't know those things. That was a big journey for me. But one of the major decisions that I made before we went on to have your sister Claire and then you was that you would know her. was that in this family, you would know her spirit, you would know that she existed, and we would celebrate very intentionally during specific times of years so that all three of you had space in this family. And if you're watching on YouTube, that is a very hard picture to see, but it is our daughter, Emma Grace. What was it like being the baby of the family, raised up to know that you had an angel sister?
Well, I think I never saw myself as the baby because we were treated very equally.
Mm.
And I'm very glad for that because me and Claire have no issue right now of like, normal people fight about the youngest gets everything. But
Yes.
we got what we had, that's it. But personally for me, I think I was very open to that idea and the fact, and it never really bothered me. I do feel like there was a lot of times where I was kind of dependent on her still, even though she was in heaven.
Mm.
And this sounds kind of weird, but me and Claire both kind of feel that way. We've talked about it, is that Emma are like, she still has a place in our heart, and because we know she's in heaven, we understand that she did help us a lot. And one of the ways I think was her song. Was it Grandma who had the song? She found the song?
No, it was me.
Or did Grandma tell you about the song?
No. Oh, do you know the story of the song?
Yeah.
So Emma's song is I Hope You Dance by Liam Womack. I was about 4 or 5 days postpartum, home, in bed. I was having phantom cry experiences. So I would finally fall asleep, cry myself to sleep, and then I would wake up in the middle of the night hearing a crying baby, thinking that my baby was there and she needed feeding. And then it would hit me all over again. What happened? And this went on for a little bit. And then it was about 3 days before the funeral. And instead of waking up to a crying phantom, a phantom cry, I woke up to a song in my head that I'd never heard before, but I heard every single word in my head. And I know that she was up there and she and God were having a moment and said, send it to her, send it to mom. And so I looked it up. I found the song. I asked your papa, the musician, to go get the CD, and we played it at the funeral, and it became my focal point, my anthem. When I struggled, I would listen to that song.
I think we heard it like a lot as a kid because you started the whole business of, what's it called?
Share Southern Vermont.
Share Southern Vermont. And that was to help mothers who had lost their baby in any way, shape, or form. I was driving to school and I got lost in my car. And then her song came on the radio. And at that point, I'm like freaking out because I'm lost. And immediately it calmed me down. And like, it was a reminder that like, she's here. Like, you have people here even when you feel lost. But music has been, I love music and it's really, really touches my soul. So music is a big part of my life. And so I feel like that song always meant a lot to me. I'm not sure for Claire, but I feel like that song was a big part of me, like understanding her. And there was also a time, I told you about this, I would write letters to Emma. I would write letters to her because it's a way for me to feel connected to her. And she, like, I was kind of jealous because everyone, like, when Claire was younger, she was able to talk to Emma. And I never had that. So I felt like, oh, like, she's seen her. Mom and dad have seen her. And I've never seen her or experienced her. And then I was praying that night, I think, and I was like, God, why do I never, like, I know she's there. I know she's with you, but like, it's unfair. I've never seen her or like felt her. the same way as other people have, and I know it's different for everybody. But I think it's that night I had a dream, like a really real dream, and I told you guys about it, where like she came to me in a dream, and like we had dinner together as a family in my bedroom, and like I didn't see her whole face, but like I could see kind of her as an angel, like just a beam of light. Like she was so bright that like I couldn't see her face, but I could tell it was her and I could feel it was her. And like she was just talking to me like any other sister would, and I still remember that dream, and I think it'll stick with me forever because I know people can say dreams aren't real, but I believe that truly she, like, there's parts of that dreams that, yes, I probably made up because those are dreams, but her physically being there with me was not fake. And I remember telling you guys about that in the morning.
That feeds my mama heart. And you know how much I love having, like, with you home from Japan briefly, right? All of us sitting around the table and having dinner together again. Oh, it just feels so good. So that vision that you are describing of a family of 5 doing that. And I'll be honest with you, if you were jealous of your sister, I was next in line jealous of both of you. As her mom, I felt like I had some right to know what color her hair was, to know what color her eyes were, to get those visions, to have I have never had that experience.
I mean, the only thing that I saw clearly was that she had black hair like you. I knew that for a fact. But definitely was quite an experience, for sure. And there's the things that a lot of people can look at and say it's not real. You know.
Yeah. So one of the things that people used to say to me, community members, other moms and dads, is, why are you doing this to your kids? Why are you putting them through this grief exploration? They're just kids. Because you did have to watch part of my grieving process come around year after year. And like, my goal was that you would understand that death is part of life.
Yeah, and I think we do.
You do?
I definitely think so. I mean, obviously it's sad if someone dies, and I've been very blessed that none of my family members have died yet. So I don't know what it feels like, but I do have an understanding that like they're going somewhere, and I am okay with that. And that even myself, like, I know you don't want to hear this, but every night before I go to bed, I ask God, I said, if you grant me another day, help me to do your work, because I'm not promised tomorrow. And I don't get to make that choice if I live or die. It's not in my control. So I'm okay now with the fact that even like myself, I'm okay knowing that like I've lived life and each day I'm living life. So
I think that is the biggest difference.
Yeah.
From the Caroline who was here before Japan and the Caroline who's visiting from Japan, is you have the ability to live in the present moment.
Yeah, and that just came from experience, I think. I know I'm very grateful I have that ability now. And there are times that I'm not doing that. We all have those moments. But no, I'm like, even I think the graveyard for me and Clara's kids was not seen as like a dark, scary place as they try to put it, like during Halloween time. But it was more seen as a place where we could remember people, and even if we didn't know people, we would like read the back of their stones or like pick up the flowers, or it was like any other place for us, like a little playground, and it was great. And I think seeing it as that place is like people are resting there, and I don't know their backgrounds, I don't know all these things, I only know Emma's in that place, but I'm still grateful that they all have a place to be.
But we practiced compassion in that moment. We would
Yeah.
walk graveyards, even on like vacation and stuff when we found one, and we would look for the infant markers. And we would see if we could figure out their story even just a little bit so that we could have a moment of empathy for them.
Yeah, it's nice. And I don't feel creeped out going to a graveyard by myself.